What is up, everyone? Usually I do this 4 times a year. I say usually, that was the plan at first, but we're gonna do it once this year, or maybe twice, or at the end of the season. But we're gonna do the stat projections for both the Rangers as a team and their players as individuals. We're gonna see what they project for this season, how it compares to last season, and yeah, we'll go from there. But what we're gonna start with is the Rangers, like the team itself, wins, losses, goals for, all that jazz. So firstly, the Rangers as a team are on pace for 34 wins, which is actually kind of surprising, and 82 points on the season. So that roughly puts us, if we go ahead and we look at, oopsie daisies, I clicked on the wrong thing. Schnikes. All right, 1 second. That roughly puts us, compared to last year's NHL, one that's actually a better statistical season in terms of points than we had last season. Last season we only had 77 points as a team, and then like I said, this year we're on pace for 82. But if we go to the 2017, I'm using NHL.com, by the way, for all these stats. I used to use HockeyDB and all that, but I'm not in the mood. 82 points actually puts the Rangers, if the NHL was like last season, in 22nd place in the league, which is not good. Because if you're going to lose, you want to be all the way at the bottom. 22nd place gives you the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th best shot at the first overall pick. You want the first overall pick. So, hopefully they keep losing. Alright, so, if we take a look at goals for, we're on pace as a team for 218 goals, which is actually down from last year's 228. As for goals against, we're only, I say only, we're on pace as a team to give up, let's see, we've given up 139 goals this year, times 278 goals against this year. With that is up from last year. Last year we gave up 263 goals. So again, we're scoring less and we're giving up more goals, despite having a better record and a better pace. Yeah, that's not going to affect those. Shots per game, right now we're averaging 28.1. Last year we averaged 31. So the shots per game are actually down. So that's something we got to work on. Our face-up percentage is down almost an entire percentage point. Penalty kill is down about 6%. We're at 75.9. Last season we were at 81.4. Power plays at 19.7. Last year was 21.2. Things are just not going well this season. Alright, well that's the team stats. So you can tell, for some reason the record is better, but all the individuals' team statistics, power play and whatnot, is in the shitter. Now, as for player point projections, we're going to go over a lot of things here. So first and foremost, we're going to go through the entire team, see where they looks like they're going to finish, and whether or not it's going to be a good season or not for them, especially comparative to years prior. So Zibanejad is actually on pace for a 68-point season. That's a good season, no matter which way you draw it. Now he's only on pace for 22 goals, but 68 points. That's a first line. Those are first line center numbers. So I actually respect the shit out of that from Zibanejad. 12 of his points have come on the power play. So roughly a third of his points are on the power play, which it is what it is. But he has 115 shots this season. Last season, Mika Zibanejad, let's see. Last year, Mika Zibanejad took 212 shots. He's actually on pace for 100. And actually, 1 second. 115 shots. He's on pace for 230 shots. So his shots are going to be up, but his goals are going to be down because his shooting percentage is way off. But it's still, either way, it's going to be a good season from Zibanejad if he ends up. Anything over 60 points for Mika Zibanejad will be a good season. But the fact that he's on pace for almost 70 points is really good. Kevin Hayes is on pace for 46 assists and 66 points. He's missed 2 games, so he's not going to get his full 82 games, but assuming he plays every single game at the end of the season and is in a Ranger sweater, he'll end up with about 66 points, which is a really good season for Kevin Hayes because 66 points is almost, it's just, yeah, like Zibanejad with 68 points, that's like first-line center numbers or fringe first-line center numbers. Chris Kreider, the big surprise of the year, he's on pace for 62 points, but more importantly, he's on pace for 40 goals. 40 goals on the nose, actually. So, our top 3 guys are on pace for really good seasons. Jimmy Vesey's on pace for 20 goals and 40 points. That's good considering last year and the year prior, Vesey hasn't broken out yet. If this is his breakout year at 20 goals, 40 points, and, well, Vesey's a great get. We didn't get VC thinking he was going to be a 40-goal scorer. Some people might have thought that, but that's just not how it is. Everything VC's doing this year is up from last year. His shots, he's on pace to almost... So he has 85 shots right now. It means he's on pace for 170 shots this season. That is 34 more than he had last season, because last season he had 136. So his shots go up every single year, and his point totals and goal totals have gone up every year. He's only been in the league 2 years. He had 16 goals in 27 his rookie year, 17 and 28 in his second year. This year, like I said, if he hits that 20-goal, 40-point mark, that's a really good season, because his point totals being 12 points higher than were last season is really good. His goal totals only be up by 3, but the big 20 is something good for JVVC. It gives us a little bit more hope. Third year in the NHL seems to be the players' breakout year. Neil Pionk on pace for 38 points, 10 goals, 28 assists. It's a good year for Neil Pionk. Now his points per game right now are at a .49. Last season in the NHL, his points per game in his 28 games were at actually .5. So actually, surprisingly, in a bigger in a longer look is what we'll call. We'll use Alain Vigneault's term. In a longer look, Neil Pionk has actually put up similar numbers to what he put up last year. And considering it's only his second year in the NHL, now I know people love to say players stop developing at 23, 24. As a kinesiology major in college, I'm not trying to sound like an asshole, but as someone who's studying kinesiology and all that stuff, the human body really doesn't physically peak until 27, 28 years old, and usually you hold that peak until you're about 30, 33, 34 years old. And by physically peak, I mean your body will stop naturally gaining muscle without the use of supplements or working out, or your body will gain muscle easier up until 26, 27, 28. So I don't buy into that whole players stop developing at 23, because as long as you're getting stronger, faster, bigger, this, that, and the other thing, you're going to continue to get better at hockey and everything else you do. So yeah, Neil Pionk has really had a good season, and considering how bad our team is, I'm very impressed with him. He's actually on pace for 144 shots, which is pretty good from a defenseman. Vlad Nemesnikov was on pace for 30 points. Is what it is. I mean, this is where it really starts going downhill. Jesper Foss on pace for 28 points. Again, that's good from Jesper Foss. What can you really expect from the guy? Okay, 1 second. I'm actually going to go ahead and turn off. I'm going to turn on airplane mode. Wait, no, I shouldn't do that. Nah. I will turn off... I just need to be left alone. There we go. Do not disturb. Thank you. Okay. That way no one calls me and screws this up. Howden's on pace for 28 points. Rookie year, he started off the year really hot, but he's slowed down like any rookie would. Zuccarello has a .5 per game pace, which if it was a 82-game season, he's only on pace for 41 points. But considering he's only played 28 games, he's only on pace for 28 points. So a big down year from Zuccarello, but he's openly admitted that the trade rumors are actually starting to screw with him. Philip Hedl, only on pace for 26 points. This is rookie year. Excuse me. It's what it is. Kind of sucks, but, it is what it is. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, Nemesnikov, kind of Howden, Zuccarello, Keitel are all on down years. I'm not happy with any of their point productions. I really expect a little bit more. No, I'm not taking a shit on these guys. I mean, it's their rookie year, injured year, all that stuff. I am not taking a shit on them. Not by any stretch of the imagination, because I still love these players. Nothing changed that. I'm just saying they weren't as good as I thought they were going to be at the beginning of the season. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of hoping Keitel would finish between 35, 45 points. 26 points, I mean, his first year in the league, I guess it's good, but sometimes we have a tendency as New Yorkers to overhype certain players. And Brady Shea too. I'm kind of upset he's not. Again, it's a down year. The team kind of sucks, so I'm not going to get too on them, but I did expect to see a little bit more. Pavel Buchnevich, really big upset this year. He's got a .48 points per game pace, but then again, you want to see his numbers go up. He's only played 25 games this year. Again, he keeps getting injured. 12 points in 25 games. He's got 7 goals. It just sucks. You want to see Buchnevich do so damn good, but he keeps getting hurt. I don't know. Maybe he's just another Ranger player that we overhyped. Just maybe. Mark Stahl's on pace for 20 points. Mark Stahl's had an amazing year. I think not for nothing, Mark Stahl has been one of our top 3 defensemen this entire season. Sometimes, at some point, one of our top 2 defensemen, which speaks volumes about how weak our decor is, but how good Mark Stahl's actually been this year. There is no one out there right now that can tell me Mark Stahl's had a bad season. He still makes his occasional mistake, but he's human. Defensemen make mistakes. You're in the NHL. You're playing against the best players in the world. You're going to make mistakes, especially as a defenseman. Marcel has actually had a really good year, and I wouldn't say he's a $5.7 million defenseman, but if he was making $4.5 million this year, he's fucking worth his money. I thought he's had an awesome season. And in fact, as a defensive defenseman, that he's on pace for 20 points is awesome. I think it's awesome. Ryan Strome, on pace for 18 points as a Ranger. You know, as a fourth-line defensive player, it is what it is. You know, I wish he wasn't getting paid as much as he is at $3.1 mil, but he's just been solid. You know, he hasn't really done much wrong. Tony DeAngelo started off the year really hot, cooled down. He's on pace for 18 points, kind of meh. Brendan Smith on pace for 14 points. Now, Brendan Smith really hasn't been that great, especially the last little stretch he's been on, but he's been better than last season, so really what more could we ask for? Claeson's been awesome. He's only on pace for 8 points. Not going to make a big deal about it because he's a 7th defenseman at the end of the day. Could squeak into a top 6 on some teams, especially on this one. Guy plays hard. He does what he's got to do. Elias Anderson, if he came back to the NHL and finished out the season, he'd only score 8 points. Anderson should have never been called up in the NHL this season, especially with the usage he was getting. I'm not happy or upset with his season. I'm sure we'll see him again at the end of the year. McQuaid, I'm not even talking about Ryan McQuaid. Ryan McQuaid. Why did I just say Ryan McQuaid? Adam McQuaid. Because I've been against getting him since day one, and now we're going to actually lose value on him when we flip him somewhere else, so stupid. Boone Nieves is on pace for 4 goals, 0 assists. Guy's strictly a shooter. McLeod's on pace for 2 goals. Lethierry, 0. Fogarty, 0. Gettinger, 0. Blessy's on pace for 2 goals, so I guess that's cool. But, you know, I can tell you overall, we have our top 5 scorers, Pionk, Vesey, Kreider, Hayes, and Zibanejad, have been nothing short of impressive. They've been absolutely amazing. Even Mark Stahl. I'm going to put Mark Stahl. I'm going to say our top 6 guys in terms of producing this year have been those 6, which is sad considering Mark Stahl's in that group. Now let's look at some bright spots though, because I don't want to make this like a whole Debbie Downer video. We've seen a lot of really good things out of Brett Howden. We've seen things from Brett Howden that make you think that this guy could really be a very poor man, of an extremely poor man's Jonathan Toews. And when I say that, I don't mean he's going to be Jonathan Toews. I mean a poor man's Jonathan Toews, like a second-line center version of Jonathan Toews. The Jonathan Toews that is not putting up 60 points, 30 goals, and doing absolutely everything you could ever imagine. I mean the Jonathan Toews that'll get you 40 to 50 points, kill penalties, occasionally make an appearance on the power play, never be out of position, that kind of thing. Just a really good, I should never have said that because I'm going to get shit on for it, but a really solid second-line center on a great team. He's a Jordan Staal on the Pittsburgh Penguins Stanley Cup winning teams behind Crosby and Malkin. If that guy is your third-line center when he peaks, then you have an amazing team. But I think he'll develop into a really solid second-line center. From what we've seen out of Mika Zibanejad, this guy could, if he continues to trend upward, he could be a first-line center. Right now, I think he's a fringe first-line center. I think he's on the fringe of that right now, especially considering how much he's produced in a really shitty Rangers season. I mean, his 34 points, how many goals are there? As a team, when I say the Rangers scored 108 points, he accounts for almost a third of what the Rangers have done in terms of goal scoring, which I think is amazing. So I think right now Mika Zibanejad is like a fringe first, a good second line center, a fringe first line center. If he keeps trending upward and maybe one day becomes a 70-75 point center, he'll be a first line center. But nothing but good things I got to say about Zibanejad. We won that Brassard deal so good, and I love Derek Brassard. That was one of the few deals in my Rangers fan history I was actually really happy with the outcome of. We're happy from the start of, because we got Zibanejad and we got the second round pick. Sure. We wasted the second round pick on Brendan Smith, which I was against. Again, I was against that from the start. I was against re-signing him from the start. But even if it was Zibanejad for Brassard straight up, we won that deal from day one. Kevin Hayes, you know what? I hope we keep the guy. I'm not gonna lie to you. He might be pricing himself out, but if we get really good value out of Kevin Hayes, I saw someone today. It was on my NHL trade rumors, and one of the insiders was saying the Rangers were looking for a first-round pick, a top 9 forward or top 6, top 4 defenseman, and another pick or prospect for Kevin Hayes. If we get that value from Kevin Hayes, you got to trade the guy. There's nothing more you can do about that. But if we keep him, It's a 60, 70 point center you got right there, and that's an awesome second line center. The thing I love about Kevin Hayes is he's gotten so much better at using his body. When we first had Kevin Hayes, he never checked. He didn't. He still doesn't back check sometimes, but now he's protecting the puck better. He's doing awesome things. Kevin Hayes is really starting to develop into a hell of a second line center. Chris Kreider finally getting close to that 40 goal mark. Now, one thing about Kreider, I gotta say, is his shot has gotten so much better. His shot used to be all power, no accuracy. This will be the first time in his career he's gonna hit 30 goals, assuming he stays healthy. I think it's safe to say, he's gonna, if he plays the final 41 games of the season, he'll score at least 10 goals and be a 30 goal scorer. So he should hit 30 goals at least a season. So again, it should be a career year for him. Especially from point totals too. You got to assume he's going to get at least 20, 25 points. That'll put him at his career high. So a great year out of Kreider. Like I already said, VC, 20 goals, 40 points is good. Pionk, about 40 points is good. Jesper Fast, considering that the limited minutes he gets, and if he's always in the bottom six and all that stuff, the fact that he's producing as well as he does speaks volumes about him as a player. I love Jesper Fast. I think he should be wearing a letter forever here. I already talked about Brett Howden. Philip Hedl. So I feel like his numbers don't do him justice, because you know what? He averages 14 minutes a game, and he's, from what we've seen out of him, like as an individual, you got to be impressed. Now there are some times I feel like he looks like he's in La La Land, like. It's hard to explain. Some players, notice, some players just have it. Every time they're on the ice, they're a game changer. Now, I'm not saying Keitel's going to be that today because he's only 20 years old, 19 years old. He's a freaking kid. But there have been times where Philip Hedl has just taken over a play. Like that diving pass he made to Kevin Hayes earlier in the season, that was insane. And what I like about Keitel is every time we watch him play, I feel like he gets better and better and better. Occasionally he has a bad game, but you always see more in him, and I feel like he's getting closer to being that player where every time he's on the ice, he's a difference maker. He takes control, and I love that about him. He fits in great to this new NHL. We already talked about Stahl. I'm not going to talk about Shattenkirk. He's on a very down year. I mean, you want at least 40 points out of the guy. I don't know what Shattenkirk's deal is here. That's really all I got to say. Honestly, I was looking for more bright spots. Obviously Henrik Lundqvist has been a hell of a bright spot too, but there's not really much you can say about it. Actually, if we go ahead and take a look at Henrik Lundqvist, let's look his ass up. Oopsie daisies. Henrik. And we go to. No, we need to go by goalie tenders. Yeah, let's go refine that. Okay. 1 second. No, I don't want skaters. I don't want any skaters. Can I? No, okay, gotta go here. Goaltending. Lundqvist. Okay. So Lundqvist is he's faced this season. Ah, shit. 1 second. He has faced already 1,023 shots in 31 games. So he's actually on pace to play roughly 62 games this season, which I still think is way too much for an aging goaltender. But he's on pace to face. Actually, he's on pace to face exactly 10 more shots than he faced last season. So he's going to face over 2,000 shots, which will only be the 4th time in his career this has happened, and of course in his eldest year. His goals against is way up. He's got a 3.04 goals against. His save percentage at a 909 is pretty weak, but again, the team is not very good. So I don't know. It's so hard to judge a goaltender by the numbers because you have to watch them play, because not everything is a goaltender's fault. I can't tell you how many 2-on-1s, 2-on-0s. Lundqvist has had to face this year, and he's comes up big. Because the shitty thing is, you make a save on a 2-on-0, there's no stat for that. You make a save on a 2-on-0, it shows up as one save out of 1,023. So it accounts for 0.001% of your saves. So it sucks. Can't really show too much for it. But, watching Lundqvist play, the guy's a legend. He's been absolutely unreal this year. He's the reason we're not in last place. But I hope we finish in last place. And the way things look, if we trade Zuccarello and Hayes, Zuccarello being our, in terms of points per game, I think our fourth best player, and Kevin Hayes actually in terms of points our second best player, and only by 8 points. Trading those guys, I'm gonna guess we're gonna trade out McQuaid too. Excuse me. I'm probably gonna guess we might look for a suitor for Frederick Claesson, which actually wouldn't be a bad idea because Claesson could probably get you a fifth or a sixth round pick right now, considering how well he's been playing. You call up guys like John Gilmore, bring them back in the NHL and whatnot. I'm sure you can ship out other guys. You know, you trade Bolesky at 50% salary, retain. That's a $900,000 player who could really kill it on your fourth line. You know, the Rangers are in a good spot here to just ship out players. I just wish they'd do it a little bit sooner, but they could really, like, let's see, we can get a lot of value this season. You know, let's say you trade Hayes, Zook, Mesnikov, and, or for argument's sake, Ryan Strome, because I'm going to guess he's actually got decent value right now. You ship those guys out, and then you ship out Claesson, and Shaddy's not waiving his no movement clause, and McQuaid. That's 4 forward spots, 2 defensive spots you open to call up guys from the minors or players you pick up. You trade if you trade Hayes, Zook, Names, and Strome, that's 4 spots you open up. On forward, you call up Lettieri, you call up Anderson, you call up Meskinen, and you call up Gettinger or Gropp. Well, actually, preferably Gettinger because Gropp really is not that good. Defensively, you can call up Libor Hajek, you can call up John Gilmore, you can call up Ryan Lindgren because Lindgren's been solid. You can call up Chris Bigras, he's been solid. I think you most likely can call up John Gilmore. And you're in a really good spot this year. Not to mention, you have Vitaly Kravtsov coming over at the end of the season. And yeah, I don't know. I think we're in an awesome spot right now. We really are. There's a lot we can do with this team, and I'm excited to see what happens at the trade deadline. I look forward to it. You guys comment down below your thoughts on how this season is going. How about this? Answer this question in the comments down below. All those players I named we could trade. What do you think we could get for those players? Obviously, in a Kevin Hayes trade, a dream scenario would be like Christian Vesalainen. I don't want any more defensive prospects. I feel like defensively we're pretty sorted for our future. And here's why I say that. Let's see, cap friendly. Boom. Let's go here. What the fuck is my dog doing down there? Defensively, I think we're pretty sound for the future. You got a 24-year-old. All right, so if I'm looking at players that I want to be around, let's look ahead 5 years from now. What our defensive core should look like. I got Brady Shea at 29 years old. I got Neil Pionk at 28. D'Angelo, I'm not gonna count in D'Angelo at the moment. But you've got Libor Hajek at 25. You got Nils Lundqvist and you got K'Andre Miller at 23 years old apiece, respectively. You still have, John Gilmore at 30 if he sticks around. I don't think he will. You got Sean Day. You got Bigras at 28 if he makes it. You still have Ryan Lindgren. He'll be 25 years old. You got Nico Gross. He'll be 23. You got Joey Keane. He'll be 24, and he's been absolutely lighting it up. I thought he was going to make the NHL this year. I'm not even going to lie to you. Actually, we take a look at the Rangers reserve list. Right here, we can get a better idea as to what we have. Nils, boom. Tyler Nanny, I don't think he'll ever make it. Let's see. Gross, I mentioned. Drew Kallis-Jolin, if he keeps it up. I mean, I don't think we'll ever see Kallis-Jolin. But we really... Yegor Rykov. I totally forgot about Yegor Rykov because he could be in the NHL as soon as next year. He'll be 26 years old in 5 years. So I think defensively we're pretty sound. Now... I think if we're looking at it from a broad spectrum, we don't really have any studs in the making. I think K'Andre Miller, if anybody would be a stud at the Rangers defensive core, at least coming up, I think K'Andre Miller is the only guy that would really be an absolute stud. I think we have a lot of really solid guys, but I don't see a point in going out and getting a Dante Fabro, an Adam Fox, or anybody else just so you lose value on other players or those players themselves lose value, especially when up front the Rangers' biggest need is a go-to goal scorer. Now, who knows? We might get that at the draft. If we ended up with a top 3 pick, we got Capo Caco, Jack Hughes, or Turcotte. So you definitely got all those guys. I don't know. I think Buchnevich, if we hold on to him long enough, I think he'll be a solid 50, 60 point guy. I think Filipino will be a solid 60 to 70 point guy. I think Kravtsov, from what we've seen so far, 30 goals, 60 point. I don't think he'll be anything unreal. I think he'll be good. I don't think he'll be more than 30, 60 points. I don't want to overrate the guy and then be upset if he's not a 50 goal scorer and getting 130 points a season. Obviously, you got Igor Shesterkin too. So, you got the building blocks. You just got to make do with them. But I got to stop talking. So, comment down below what you think we can get in trades for all those players I named before. Thank you everybody for watching this video. If you're watching, because certainly making any fun of hearing it. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.